What's up, lads, and welcome back to Gladiators Tennis, and today we're back with the usual format of reviewing rackets, and the first one on the list is the Yonex Percept 97H, and we're in Andorra on a green court because the racket is green. It's endorsed by Stan Wawrinka, which means crazy control, crazy feel, and the 97-inch head size. Should fit my game, but I guess we'll see. Check out the specs.
Yo, Grish, what you up to?
Yo, Nikki, not much. Give me that. Give me that baby.
Here we go.
Yeah, guys, this is probably the most control-oriented racket in the Yonex lineup, which means let's go, Grisha. This is the racket for you. So I'm really excited to try it out. Not too sure about the 97 head size because it might be a little too small. I'm not, as talented as Stan, but I guess we'll see. Check out my highlights.
Let's check out this interesting angle for the highlights. First of all, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Yeah, people, I know that the actual most control-oriented frame in Yonex's lineup is the 97D, but that 18x20 string pattern on such a small head might be way too much for some. Like, this one is probably already too much for most players, but the D is giving me flashbacks to the times when people didn't even know what the term topspin was in tennis. Anyways, we're reviewing the H and not the D, so let's get into it. The short review of this racket would be, I loved it. Go buy it, guys. Okay, fine, I guess that's not enough. So let's start with the forehand, and I came to the conclusion that I really love heavy 16x19 string pattern rackets when it comes to my forehand. The Pro Staffa Rev, the Babolat Pure Aero Rafa Origin, this Percept, just to name a few. It has to do with the fact that I can sometimes be a bit of a pussy when it comes to hitting forehands, and that causes me to sometimes not follow through enough and makes the balls land short or even to the net. With a heavy racket with an open string pattern like this Percept, that mistake becomes way less common, as it is really hard not to follow through with a racket like this one, as it pretty much drags your body into the shot as you hit it. And that causes all of my forehands to land deep and become way harder to attack, giving me a huge advantage when playing the point. It doesn't leave much room for spin, but it's definitely enough for those players who don't base their game around spin entirely and just use it as a tool to provide a bit more margin for their missile forehands. The stability with this racket, as we come to expect, is also top notch, and that actually brings me to my favorite shot with this racket, my favorite shot in general, and the one that requires a lot of stability, and that is the backhand. I've enjoyed hitting backhands with this racket so much that it almost seemed like it outperformed my racket of choice on that shot. Whenever Nikki would serve a not perfect kick serve to my backhand side, he would receive a huge down the line winner that was absolutely unreachable. And I think that this is actually the best performing racket out of all that we've tested for a flat backhand. I'll just leave it at that. Now let's smoothly transition to the most important shot in the game, the slice. Just kidding, the serve. It was an absolute beauty when it came to the flatter first serve and the slices, achieving good speed and precision when opening angles or going to the tee was just effortless. What wasn't effortless whatsoever was the second kick serves, as it seemed to be even more challenging to achieve decent topspin on the second serves than with my 18x20 gravity, which was kind of weird. It's totally doable, it's just a matter of practice, but don't consider this racket if you rely heavily on your second serve angles in your matches. Volleys are usually very tempting after a huge first serve with this one, but make sure that you hold your racket in front as you do it, as maneuverability might become a concern for some. But if you manage to put the racket against the ball in the sweet spot when you're up at the net, you'll close the point 12 out of 10 times. Returns, as I already mentioned, were out of this world because the penetration levels you get with this racket are close to those of a spear, and that always helps returning. A short swing is all you need to start the point with an advantage. So what's the verdict then, you might ask? Well, if you're looking for a stable, control-oriented frame with great feel that is close to a racket that the pros play on tour in its stock form, you must check out the Percept 97H. Also, this being a Yonex racket, the specs are going to be as exact as they can get without any deviations, so if you buy more than one racket, you won't have to spend any extra time, effort and money on balancing it, as the quality of Yonex is probably the best one out there. Would I recommend this racket? Absolutely yes. Nikki, so if the Glads are already interested in buying this wonderful Percept 97H, tell them where can they do it?
Well,
There's a link in the description down below to get an exclusive discount code, which I'm using already, by the way. And now, let's check out my review.
Woo! Woo! Nikki!
Oh,
What are you up to, man?
man, I'm enjoying the view of this huge mountain. Crazy stuff. Not every day I get to play in front of these mountains.
Fair point, but what about the racket?
Whoa, I haven't played with it yet, but expectations pretty high. Pretty quick surface today, as you can see. We're playing on this green/grass or whatever this thing is. Stan Wawrinka plays with his racket. Pretty excited to try his racket. Big fan of his. I have a big backhand as well, so we'll see how that goes.
Nikki, who told you that you have a big backhand, man?
I don't know. I just feel like I have the better shot out there, so we'll see.
What's up, Glads? I'm back at it again, guys, with another frame. This time, it's a more control-rotated racket that brings way more feel and less power. Honestly, I was surprised with this one. It's a 97-inch head, gave me way more control and power than I expected. It was very pleasing to play with it because I could feel every single hair of the ball touching the strings. Starting with the baseline game, I could feel that by hitting the ball flatter rather than putting spin on it gave me more control over my shots. I could hit the ball as strong as I wanted to and it would land in, especially from my backhand side, as it is more of a flatter shot. I could get a lot of control and power out of it. Forehands, on the other hand, were a mixed feeling. For some of you who don't know me, I have a very spin-orientated forehand, so every time that I test a frame that's more control-orientated, my shot struggles a lot. It was the same story here. I had to settle for hitting the ball way flatter than I'm used to, which led to some crazy shots but also a lot of easy mistakes. It was very complicated to relax my wrist and put any type of spin on the ball. It felt like the strings were very dull and the ball was not catching any spin. With this type of racket, I like to come to the net more often than usual, and this one was no exception. The volleys felt extremely well. I managed to hit some cool shots and it was surprising to me to see how much control this frame gave me. The only part of the game that I did not help was the serve. For the first serves it was perfect. I could hit the spot almost every time and I would go with a lot of pace. The problem appeared in my second serve. That's where I could not generate any type of spin at all. The balls felt very flat and it was very similar feeling to my forehand, where the racket lacks in generating spins. Well, to sum everything up, this is a perfect frame for hard hitters who like to smash the ball flat and don't worry about putting any rotation in their shots. But if you're a type of player who likes to use a lot of topspin in their game, I will look somewhere else, as this frame is not going to give you any of that. And now check out the grades.